want to work in a startup? You want to build a startup? But what are the best countries in Europe to do so? Coming up now. Hi, I'm Oliver and welcome back to AskMeStartup, the channel where we talk about startups, small businesses, and the world around them. Please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever we're uploading new content. So today's topic, what are the best countries in Europe to start your business? So let's consider you are, very much in favor of working in a startup, or you are thinking of starting your own business within Europe and you're thinking like, what could be the best place to do so? I mean, I have already talked about a few countries, but this is now a new study that has been performed by a British fintech company. They looked at a lot of publicly available data, such as the GDP and the GDP per capita and the education level of the population, etc. Hence, they came up with a list of all 31 countries within Europe and their ranking in where to start a business. Now, what are the first 3 countries here? We're going to talk about them in depth, and I will also share the list with you at the end of this video. Country number 1, Germany. Now, Germany is a mixture of many things, but it is a very good business environment country. I already did a video which you can look up here, and this country, strives not by its perfection in everything, but in the consensus and the best overall package within Europe. It has a very healthy economy, a very good access to very well educated workforce, and a quite decent access to venture capital, which is of course relevant for any startup that you were thinking about to found. Furthermore, Germany ranks second behind Switzerland in terms of governmental burden or bureaucracy burden. Hence, it is okay and not too complicated to get things going off the ground. The thing that it starts to lack is more or less the more expensive labor force that is down there and the cost of living. On the good side, however, the corporate tax. Now, this is very surprising to me, or was very surprising to me to be honest, because usually Germany is not known to have any favorable tax system. But on a company level, they only have 15.28% taxes, which is great because this is low enough for most companies to be successful and not to spend a lot of money, like for instance in the Netherlands, where you would have to spend 25% corporate tax. The second best country to start a business in Europe, according to that study, was United Kingdom. Now that came as a big surprise to me, to be honest, because if you consider all the issues they're currently having with the Brexit, they're having the biggest GDP loss in history, more than any other country in Europe currently, and they're struggling to get things done. That came as a really, really huge surprise. However, the access to venture capital is the best in Europe, and there's a very good skilled labor force which is not too expensive. So even though London, as the small hub in terms of financial industry, is utterly expensive to live, in general cost of living, etc. are not too shabby within the United Kingdom. Furthermore, there's a proliferation of startup help organizations to help the entrepreneurs when they need it. Third on the list for the best places for startups, Switzerland. Now, I already did a video on Switzerland. If you want to watch it, there's a link up here. And it doesn't come to a surprise to me because I do live in Switzerland. I know that this is a very good place to do your business. The challenge within Switzerland is that it is very expensive. So the cost of living and the salary expectation of the workforce are among the highest in Europe. But it has a very, very economically centered politics, and the corporate taxes are very low, among the lowest in Europe. Now, they're, depending on where you are within Switzerland, different, but they can rank from somewhere between 11 to 20+% in this country. What it makes Switzerland outstanding is it has the highest score of skilled labor force. And if you look at the chart that I'm going to display right now here, you can see that all the countries within Europe have different availabilities of secondary and tertiary education. This is to you important no matter whether you want to work in a startup or whether you want to build a startup, because skilled labor force in different shapes and in different forms are utterly important to any business to be successful. That is, despite many startups starting off from academics, they also need, let's say, mechanical engineers or just, basic workers that can do the work in a skilled manner. Hence, if you look at the ranking, and there are other rankings in terms of business climate, for instance, what are the 3 top countries in the terms of business climate? That would be Switzerland, Germany, and Finland. Now, if you look at the list of how much does it cost to run a business, this list is almost inverted to the list of the top countries to do your business in. These factors include the costs of living, the costs of the workforce, as well as the cost of corporate taxes. And if you look at those, the numbers and the rankings are: first, Bulgaria; second, Romania; third, Hungary. Then there is another category the authors have been looking at, and which I find also very interesting to look at. It is the economic health. How much growth expectation does this country have? How much stability does it have over time? And if you look at that ranking, you can see that Ireland actually tops out on number 1, the Netherlands on base number 2, and Germany third. Now, which is good for Germany, and one of the major reasons it ranked number 1 in the overall setup. Hence, I was looking at and surprised why Switzerland is not up there. The main reason is that the economic outlook for this country currently isn't as good, so their expectation of growth is shrinking. Reason being here, of course, currency. The increase in value of the Swiss francs towards the euro has caused a lot of Swiss companies to struggle significantly. Hence, their expectation for export, and Switzerland is an export-driven country, has been decreased. Nonetheless, I'm sure you're very much interested in a complete list, and here you are. This is your list from place 1 to 31 on the best countries to run your business. Think about it and think, what is your preferred country? Where would you love to start your own business? Where would you love to work in a startup? In which country? Just drop a comment down below, and I see you next time.